Welcome to episode 321 of the Various and Sundry Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Harmon, joined live from the Vault Studio, the beautiful campus of Grace College and Grace Theological Seminary, by my good friends, my colleague, my co-host, the man who is lamenting the end of false spring, John Scott Sloat.
Yeah, it is cold today.
Yeah.
Icy yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I had two staff members saying, like, hey, I left for work and I'm going to be late. There's a great deal of ice and snow.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not for the faint of heart out there today.
Yeah, I mean, after last week, a week of temperatures in the 50s.
Balmy.
Pushing 60 at points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this week, Old Man Winter has punched back or bit back or what
Somebody woke him up.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. He threw a haymaker.
Yeah, get off my lawn kind of thing.
Yeah. Ugh. And the East Coast is getting the worst of it. Have you been paying attention?
Vaguely. Like blizzard sort of warnings kind of stuff.
So I have a part-time staff member that lives in Connecticut. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah. I have a part-time staff member that lives in Connecticut. And she's on our call every Monday morning at 8:30. And I asked her this morning, like, how much snow did you guys get in Connecticut? 20 inches of snow in Connecticut. That's a lot of snow.
That's a lot of snow.
And she went, yeah, the plows are still out, able to get out and moving. And she goes, my husband had to go into work. And he went to the train station and the trains are canceled.
That's not good. If the trains are canceled, that's a pretty good sign that it's a lot.
And she lives in like Dunder Mifflin territory.
Oh, yeah.
And so she was like, yeah, he had to catch an Uber to Stamford.
Okay.
I was like, oh, Stamford, Connecticut. That's where I can't. That's where Jim worked for like a season.
That sounds right. Yeah. All right. Well, if you would like to contact the show and give us your meteorological update, you can find us on X at VNSPod. You can email the show, variousandsundrypodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and on YouTube, and we would love for you to leave a 5-star review on 5-star rating and a review on whatever platform you access the show. All right, John, let's dive into it.
Let's do it.
The Olympics.
They're over.
They're done.
How much of the Olympics did you catch?
You know, I caught some hockey. I caught some curling. And did I catch anything else? I think that's about it. A little bit of biathlon.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I feel like, first of all, we have to follow up on the Canadian curling cheating scandal, that they still won gold.
Yeah. Well, they're very good curlers. They at least cheated that one time.
Okay.
Right? I think the video evidence is pretty clear.
But there was no,
there's
penalty
no punishment.
For that.
No.
So they're like the NCAA.
Yeah, the IOC?
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise. I mean,
yeah, go ahead and cheat. It's really not that big a deal.
It's really not that big a deal. I mean, the IOC is probably a little bit more corrupt than the NCAA. Like, the NCAA is just powerless and feckless.
Yeah.
But the IOC is like
on the take.
Yeah. I mean, they're not above bribes. You know, I think that's the.
So what you're saying is there's some serious Canadian curling booster money flowing towards the IOC to keep the Canadian curlers out of trouble.
Yeah.
You think there's a whole cabal of Canadian curling?
I don't think it's – I would not use the word cabal. But I do think – I don't think it's above the realm of possibility with the IOC. I mean, There's a reason – that you host these tournaments, these international Olympic Games in these sort of corrupt countries, because it's a whole lot easier to bribe somebody than go through the democratic process.
So Italy's a corrupt country?
I didn't say that. Russia is. China is.
Yeah.
And they keep going back to that well.
Okay.
Because I think they can grease a palm and get a whole lot further than they can in a place like I mean, Italy was reusing buildings.
What do you mean reusing?
The curling facility was the figure skating facility in like the 1970s Olympics.
I see.
They just put a roof on it. But it was the same facility. They're reusing those buildings. And,
now, I'll be honest, that doesn't bother me.
The reusing buildings?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't bother me either. I just think it's good economics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty common if you go to some of these cities that have hosted Olympics, like 10 years after they host an Olympics, you see these abandoned or run down buildings or facilities.
Particularly in Russia and China. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was true in Athens as well. I was in Athens the Athens Olympics was what, like 2004, I think?
Yeah, they also had a major economic sort of collapse in Greece. Yeah.
Sure, but I was there, 10 years after? And it was, like that hosted an Olympic event? Like, boy, that thing is just like it's like
gone to seed.
Yeah, it's like they just didn't do anything with it.
And I think that's why you need to be in a Western-style nation that has some sort of regular sports going on that could support those facilities, right?
Probably.
You need to be in the United States where they have various matches, games, or where professional soccer is. And those stadiums can be utilized.
Well, and then Winter Olympics, obviously, you do at least some of that outside, and so that's
right.
You repurpose a pre-existing ski run.
Totally.
And
totally.
But obviously, the big Olympic story coming out of the weekend is that 46 years to the day of the Miracle on Ice, in which the Americans beat the Russians in 1980 in the Olympic semifinals. The Americans beat the Canadians for the gold medal, 2-1 in overtime.
100%. I also think we're shattering the idea that the Canadians are just good, wholesome humans.
Okay, be
right?
careful now. We probably have some Canadians who are listening among us.
I think their country behaved poorly in these Olympics, right? The Canadian men's hockey team did some interviews after the game and said, well, look at the tape. Who's the better team? Yeah. And I just want to go, somebody needs a lesson on being a sore loser,
Yeah.
And then we have not to bring it back to the Canadian curling cheating scandal, but the response from the Canadian curler that was caught cheating was, well, they set up a sting operation to catch me. I'm the victim here.
Yeah.
We're like, no, you're the cheater here.
That's right.
Like that. It's not a good look for Canada. This happy-go-lucky, apologize for everything sort of country, is looking like selfish brats.
Well, let's be honest. In the sporting world, what is Canada known for? It's known for the hockey and apparently curling.
Yeah, they're known for curling. Yeah,
and probably some skiing in there as well. Maybe I don't know.
Probably they're probably known for some skiing.
But hockey is part of the DNA.
Hockey is the DNA
of that country.
Absolutely.
And so getting beat by the Americans is like, an identity crisis for them. Because for the United States, let's be honest, hockey is like fourth or fifth,
yeah. Probably fourth.
In terms of
probably fourth.
In terms of interest?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe fifth. I mean, I might put soccer ahead of it.
It depends
even
on
though
the
we don't,
city.
Even though we don't have, even though the sort of professional league here is not.
I do think the hockey professional league is more well established than
the
soccer league.
But I think you have there's a perhaps surprisingly large number of Americans who follow like Premier League soccer in Europe.
Yeah, they watch it. That's their Saturday morning ritual is watching European soccer. Yeah.
Yes. So that's definitely
Rebecca Lowe, right? Isn't she the host of NBC soccer on Saturday mornings?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sure my sons know this, but I don't.
Yeah, I think she hosts it.
Does she have a British accent?
Yeah, she's English.
Okay. All right. So, but yeah, just a huge victory for the United States in the gold medal game. Did you watch it?
No, I did not. I've been packing all weekend. I've just had boxes on boxes on boxes. I did listen to some spring training baseball on the radio.
I see. Well, I mean, baseball in general, but spring training baseball especially, I would think, is very good background noise for other activities.
You learned some interesting things, right? They interviewed like the assistant general manager, who frankly doesn't get a lot of airtime, right, about the off season.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting to see that nugget out there.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Grace basketball?
We got a little bit more time to finish up on the Olympics.
Oh, okay.
But I do want to talk about Grace, yeah. But why don't you pull up the final medal count?
Oh, sure.
Because if I remember correctly, the United States finished second in both overall medals as well as number of gold medals. I believe that was correct.
To
Norway.
Norway, right?
Yeah.
Well, that just makes sense. Yeah, here we go. Norway had 41 medals. We had 33.
All right.
Norway had 18 golds. We had 12.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep. We had 12 silvers. They had 12 silvers. They had 11 bronze. We had 9.
Okay. So, yeah, they outpaced us with the golds in particular.
The Canadians had a very bad showing. Not to just be consistent and rail on the Canadians. How far down the list do you think I have to go to get to the Canadians in the medal count?
Let's go down to, say, like 9th or 10th.
They're 11th.
Okay.
Listen to some of the countries ahead of the Canadians. Now, some of them you will expect.
Yeah. There's got to be a Sweden and a Finland above them, right?
Third is the Netherlands.
Okay, yeah.
Then we have Italy, the host nation.
Yeah.
Germany, France.
Sure.
Sweden, Switzerland.
Yeah.
And then the next two, 9 and 10, I think Canada should be ahead of these two. And it should be in that mix. Austria.
Okay.
Which has some good mountains, but is not known for their athletic prowess.
Okay.
Or their vocal prowess. Japan.
Now, see, that's the one.
That's a slap in the face to Canada.
The one. Yeah.
Number 12, immediately behind Canada, China, South Korea, Australia. That's not the company you want to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, Asian plus Australia being, Pacific. Yeah. All Pacific area, I guess.
You know who did not make a good showing?
Who's that?
Well, one of my favorite countries.
And that is?
Finland. Did not have a good showing. 23rd, 6 medals.
That's deeply disappointing.
1 silver, no golds, and 6 bronze.
How do we not have a Finn who wins
cross-country
skiing, biathlon, even the downhill skiing sort of stuff? Like, come on, what's going on?
I mean, listen to the bottom 10 here, and let me know who does not fit. Belgium, Bulgaria, Georgia, Estonia, Denmark, Latvia, Finland, New Zealand, Poland, Kazakhstan.
Yeah. You would expect Finland to be in the mix with like Sweden, Switzerland, that kind of crowd.
Yeah.
Not
the other Nordics.
Yeah, not Estonia.
Yeah.
Not Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a sad showing.
That is disappointing.
Now, Kazakhstan just won 1 medal, but it was gold.
Okay.
So they get a certain number of points for
that. Let's now talk a little bit about some Grace men's basketball.
Okay.
Were you at the game on Saturday?
I was.
Okay. I was not. I was on the road.
Yeah. So The men won.
They did by 2
against a subpar team.
Yes. Now, I will say that
an up-and-coming
this Goshen team is leaps and bounds better than they've been the last few years. I mean, they beat a Taylor team that's on the outside of the top 25, and they took Indiana Wesleyan to overtime.
Yeah, they're a tough
So,
matchup.
They're a program on the rise in the Crossroads League. But still, you would have expected Grace to probably win by a little bit more than 2.
So, when's our next home game? Tournament starts, right?
Crossroads League tournament opening round begins this Wednesday.
Are you on the call?
I am on the call.
Okay.
And
there's a programming note here.
Big news, yes.
So for the postseason,
we
have contracted with a group called Urban Edge Network.
Obviously, because Winona Lake in Warsaw is in the heart of an urban area.
Yep. Urban Edge Network. And so up until this point, you have been able to pay to stream games from Grace?
Yeah. I mean, you got to pay my salary. Come on.
And I know how much we make from that. It does not cover your salary. If it does, we need to have a conversation. But you'll be able to stream the games for free. Now, there will be ads. There will be some of these sorts. There will be those sorts of things out there. But if you go out and get Urban Edge Network for the remainder of this year through all of our postseason games at home, at least, you'll be able to watch the Lancers on Urban Edge Network.
Yeah, and they have, from what I understand, there's an actual app that you can get on your smart TV, on your phone, on your tablet, whatever that might be. But you can also, I don't know if this, typically the way you end up accessing the live stream has been you go to gclancers.com and then go down and find, here's the men's basketball, here's a little link that you click. So I don't know, I don't know, that if you do that, it would just open up in the app perhaps if you're using your phone or your iPad or something like that. But I imagine there has to be some way of searching or finding the game on the app.
I assume so.
Yeah.
But I'll put a link to the app or the website, I guess, in the show notes for the game Wednesday night. So all of you can listen to the more of Matt Harmon's voice along with his son.
That's
right. Is Jake calling the game?
Yes, he is. He's the play-by-play guy. Though on Saturday, since I was gone,
who did it with him?
I forget his name. It's the guy who does the play-by-play for the women's games, and so Jake did the color commentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
He's a multi-dimensional broadcaster.
Man.
So, yeah. So so they beat Goshen. They won the Crossroads League outright, and they are the number 1 seed. They will play Spring Arbor, a team that is the 8th seed, but they only lost to Grace by, was it 4 or maybe 6? About, 2 weeks ago? Maybe 3 now? So relatively recently. And so that's not a given. I mean, the conference is so deep that it's not a given. One thing that will help the Lancers is they will get Ian Rosh back.
I was about to mention we've been without one of our best players, if not our best player.
He is our best player,
we've been without him the last week or so.
Yes, so we didn't have him on the road in losing to Bethel.
We didn't have him we had him for 6 minutes in Iowa.
We had him for the first 6 minutes of the game against Iowa, and then he re-aggravated that injury, and then he did not play against Goshen. But that made sense. We had clinched the conference.
Yeah.
You want to give him a full week plus of rest to get ready for the postseason run. So that's where we are with that. And the Lancers will be going for their this is unprecedented. They've won 4 consecutive conference tournament championships. That's never been done in the history of the Crossroads League.
5 would be a big statement.
5 would just be unreal. So we'd love to have you come out in person here if you're local.
Absolutely.
But if you can't, you can find us on the Urban Edge Network?
Urban Edge Network.
Okay. All right. Find that app. You can find the website in the show notes.
Yeah.
We'll get you hooked up. So,
or wherever you find apps.
Yeah. There you go. All right, John, let's move into our main topic for the day. We're continuing our series on the minor prophets.
Let's do it.
We are to Hosea. So we've done Amos, and we did an introductory week, and now we're doing Hosea. And we're going to have to be careful here, John, to make sure that the content does not cross over into the E rating category. So let's talk a little bit about Hosea. I'm curious from your perspective, like when you think of the book of Hosea, what are some things that immediately come to mind?
Well, in the spirit of keeping things family friendly,
yeah,
a not so friendly, family friendly relationship between Hosea and his wife.
Yeah, yes, that his wife was unfaithful.
There we go.
To him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Consistently and regularly.
Repeatedly, yes. So, yeah, and that's a driving theme throughout the entire book for sure.
Yep. That's what I think of most naturally.
Yeah. So let's dive in a little bit here to Hosea in terms of authorship and date. Like Amos before him, we're talking 8th century, mid 8th century.
So are the two of them contemporaries then?
Loosely, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you think they knew? Do you think they had like conferences they went to together, or do you think did they interact? Did they exchange letters?
They probably at least followed each other on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You wonder.
Yeah. But so Hosea in his opening line mentions 4 kings of Judah and 1 king of Israel. And so as a result, his ministry, although perhaps a little bit more slanted towards the folks in the southern kingdom, is also applicable to the northern kingdom as well. So as a continuation of last week, the historical context of Hosea is essentially the same as that of Amos, where you had it's the peak of the northern kingdom's prosperity. So economic strength, political strength, and unfortunately, that was not accompanied by spiritual strength, not accompanied by faithfulness to the Lord, and thus this is how we get Hosea raised up. And, just some of the most vivid imagery in the entirety of the Old Testament. So John, I'm going to have you read Hosea 1, verse. Let's just do verses 2 and 3.
Okay, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
When the Lord first spoke through Hosea, the Lord said to Hosea, "Go to take yourself a wife of whoredom and have children of whoredom. For the land commits great whoredom by forsaking the Lord." So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim.
Sure.
And she conceived and bore him a son.
Okay.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So that really sets the tone for the entirety of the book. And when it comes to even just thinking about an overview of the book, it really is it can be structured around this idea of an unfaithful wife. And so God's instruction to Hosea is to essentially have him be an acted parable, a lived out parable of God's relationship to Israel.
Explicitly so, right?
Yes.
I mean, explicitly so.
Yes. And so you have Gomer being unfaithful to Hosea, And this is a picture of Israel's unfaithfulness to the Lord. And that really is the driving theme of the entire book, that you've got this vivid, lived-out parable metaphor of God putting on display Israel's unfaithfulness to him. So let's dive in a little bit in terms of some of the distinctives here. One of the things that I always find fascinating about the Old Testament prophets is some of their literary styles and devices they use. And we're going to look at one in particular here, this idea of a covenant lawsuit. So last week we did talk about how the prophets are God's covenant lawyers. They are, in essence, prosecuting attorneys who come along and say, okay, here's what God's law says. You're guilty of breaking it, and here's what the punishment's going to be.
Yeah. And that's where it goes beyond a prosecutor probably a little bit, right? Like, here's what the punishment will be is more.
Well, I mean, our legal codes often lay out penalties for violating law. Those who break this law could be subject to 3 to 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine or whatever it might be. So, in any case, let's look at chapter 4.
Okay.
So, these so-called covenant lawsuits kind of have a similar kind of repeated pattern that we see in Hosea. So let's read Hosea 4. We'll go verses 1 through 6.
All right. Hosea 4, 1 to 6. Hear the word of the Lord, O children of Israel, for the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land. There is no faithfulness or steadfast love, and no knowledge of God is in the land. There is swearing, lying, murder, stealing, and committing adultery. They break all bounds, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Therefore the land mourns, and all who dwell in it languish. And also the beasts of the field and the birds of the heaven and even the fish of the sea are taken away. Yet let no one contend and let none accuse, for with you is my contention, O priest. You shall stumble by day, and the prophet also shall stumble with you by night, and I will destroy your mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I reject you from being a priest to me, and since you have forgotten the law of your God, I will also forget your children.
Okay, so in these sort of covenant lawsuits, the term that's used is the Hebrew term reeve. And that is translated as controversy there in verse 1. In Hosea 1 there, the Lord has a controversy, a reeve, with the inhabitants of the land. And so it's interesting, in that verse you have the Israelites themselves called as witnesses against their own immorality. And then really starting halfway through verse 1 of chapter 4 and going through verse 3, you kind of have what could be described as the statement of the case. So you get a contrast between what they do have and what they do have, and then the result that's going to come from that. So you've got there's a contrast between what they don't have and what they do have. So they don't have faithfulness, kindness, faithfulness, steadfast love, and knowledge. But instead they have swearing, lying, murder, stealing, committing adultery, which
ticks off quite a few 10 commandments.
That's right. Yeah. Straight out of the top 10 commandments there in terms of what they should not be doing. And then as a result, the land is languishing. And then starting in verse 4 and actually going all the way through verse 10, we didn't read all of that, but there are these alternating statements of indictment and sentence. Like, for example, verse 6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, okay, so they've lacked knowledge. Now here's the consequence. I reject you from being a priest to me. And since you have forgotten the law of your God, I will also forget your children. So there's this kind of alternating back and forth between these statements of indictment and then consequence or sentence in here. So again, these are literary devices that the prophets use to help communicate their sort of theological message there. But actually what I'd like to spend the rest of our time kind of talking through is this idea of God's relationship to his people as a marriage. And this is not something that is new in Hosea. It's not like this is something that Hosea is the first to kind of reveal this. In fact, you actually see this as early as the book of Exodus. So if you go back to Exodus, in the context of the incident with the golden calf, so you've got the sin that Israel commits with the golden calf in Exodus 34, and then in the context of God explaining his own commitment to his covenant with his people, it's interesting in verse 15, God basically says that if they fail to take his covenant seriously, that Israel is in danger of, quote, playing the harlot with other gods. So you think, well, wait a minute. What's the underlying assumption of that? The underlying assumption of that seems to be that Israel and God are in some sort of committed marriage relationship, and that this is spiritual unfaithfulness by going after other gods. And then that continues to be a prominent theme, actually, in the Old Testament prophets, right? So you get that in Isaiah, in Jeremiah, and in Ezekiel in particular. Ezekiel is about as graphic as it gets about Israel's spiritual adultery against the Lord. But this picture of Israel as God's wife, of course, anticipates what the New Testament's going to show us about the relationship between Christ and his church. And that is most clearly seen, of course, in Ephesians 5, but also in Revelation 19.
Classic wedding text.
Yeah, absolutely. So that does prepare us for this. So to say it another way, Hosea is one of the kind of the key stops on that larger biblical theological trajectory of God's relationship to his people is portrayed as a marriage. And when I talk about this, I always like to try to emphasize it's not as if God made human marriage and then sometime later was like, okay, what I need is an analogy.
What I need is a picture.
I need an analogy.
Yeah.
What have I made? Oh, marriage. Here we go. Perfect. It's God designed human marriage already having in view that his relationship with his people was going to be a certain way.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
Yeah. So human marriage is intended to give a clear picture of that. Any other thoughts on that before? I wanted to hit just a few highlights of places where texts from Hosea are used in the New Testament, because there's several.
Yeah, probably the only thing I'd add is as we read Hosea, what we're supposed to, it's natural when you read to identify with a character. Mm-hmm. And I think it's, natural to identify with Hosea or God even, But I think as you read the text and as you look at the larger picture of what the biblical author is trying to communicate, like the people of Israel and by extension followers of Christ are are more Gomer, are supposed to see themselves as sort of this depraved person who can't help but act on their depravity. Mm-hmm. And so needing somebody to come in to cause them to be faithful or to help them on their way.
Very much so. Yeah, no, that's a good word. So let's just hit a few places where texts from Hosea are used in the New Testament. So in Hosea 1, like in verse 6, for example, she conceived again and bore a daughter, and the Lord said to him, call her name No Mercy, for I will no more have mercy on the house of Israel to forgive them at all. And then verse 9, and the Lord said, call his name Not My People, for you are not my people, and I am not your God. And then verse 10. So actually, both those texts are used in 1 Peter 2, verse 10, as well as in Romans chapter 9, verses 25 and 26. But then verse 10 here in Hosea 1 continues, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the place where it was said to them, you are not my people, it shall be said to them, children of the living God. And what's fascinating is the way Paul uses that text in Romans 9, because he applies it to Gentiles. Mm-hmm. He says that as Gentiles come to know Jesus, it is fulfillment of this passage, which is fascinating. Perhaps a discussion for another day. Hosea 6, verse 2, a text that I think people will immediately go, oh, that's where that is. So Hosea 6:2, after 2 days he will revive us. On the third day he will raise us up that we may live before him. So all of those resurrection on the third day texts in the New Testament are probably dependent on, at least in some way, on Hosea 6:2 here. But less so a direct quotation and more of an allusion, but fascinating. Why don't you look at, since we're in the neighborhood there, can you pull up Hosea 6:6 for us?
Sure. Sure can. All right, sorry, I'm in Romans here.
This will be one that I think people go, oh, that one's in Hosea too.
All right, Hosea 6:6. For I desire steadfast love and not sacrifice. Sounds familiar? Mm-hmm. The knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings.
Yeah, so that's actually quoted twice in Matthew, where Jesus is rebuking the sort of religious ritualism, outward nature or focus of the religious leaders, rather than the inward heart posture. And then, of course, there's one that is one of the most challenging, perhaps, uses of the Old Testament in the New. Hosea 11:1. When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son.
Yeah.
That's in Matthew 2:15.
That's a pretty famous one.
Yeah, so some typology going on there. And then one that maybe is a little less recognized, but certainly important, is over in Hosea 13. Hosea 13, verse 14 says, shall I ransom them from the power of Sheol? Shall I redeem them from death? O death, where are your plagues? O Sheol, where is your sting? Compassion is hidden from my eyes. So that's picked up in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 55. So several places there, and again, there's more allusions, but that'll kind of cover it. So what's the big idea from Hosea? I would say it like this: God's people must turn from their idolatrous pursuit of other lovers who will not satisfy and return to the Lord, their true husband and redeemer. That's what it's about. So there's your 40,000-foot flyover at best of Hosea.
Yeah, there's what, 14 chapters in Hosea? I mean, there's a lot there that we didn't cover.
Next week we're going to go with a smaller one, Micah.
How much does Micah got?
7.
7 chapters.
Yeah.
Okay. For being like, I think when I think about the minor prophets, I think, oh, they're all like 3 chapters, and they're actually quite long. Some of them.
Yes, several of them. Yes. We will get to some smaller ones here, but yeah, you've got ones like Hosea and, Amos was 9 chapters. Zechariah is 14 chapters. So you've got some longer ones in there that, get a bum rap, I think, because they're lumped among the minor prophets.
Yeah.
And certainly worth our attention today. All right, John, time now for This Day in Sports History.
All right, This Day in Sports History, February 24th, 2026.
It's our last episode in February.
Yeah. 1952, Norway goes 1-2 in the men's ski jumping event at the Oslo Winter Olympics with Arnfinn Bergman winning gold ahead of teammate Torbjørn Falkner. I have no idea.
Torbjørn Falkinger.
Okay.
That'd be my guess.
Oslo, that's a place that – when was the last time they had the Winter Olympics? That feels like it's due.
Yeah.
When was the last time we had a Nordic Winter Olympics?
All right. You keep going. I'll see if I can come up with the answer to that.
Well, I think we have more.
Oh, yes. You've definitely got some more Olympic stuff here.
1974, Dutch speed skater Antje Kulen Dielstra becomes women's all-around world champion at Heerenveen, Netherlands, her 3rd consecutive title and 4th in 5 years.
There you go.
1978, Kevin Porter, New Jersey, sets NBA record with 29 assists in a game. That's a lot of assists.
Yeah, it's no longer the record. But do you know it's the record, I believe now is 32, and it's by Scott Skiles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
1980, U.S. ice hockey team clinches gold medal with a 4-2 win over Finland at the Lake Placid Winter Olympics.
Yes. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So I have an update on our previous one. The last time the Winter Olympics were held in a Nordic country was 1994. It was in Norway, but it was at Lillehammer, not Oslo.
So it's been more than 30 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
How many times has it been in China or Russia since then?
Okay. We're back to your corruption soapbox here.
Yes. I think FIFA's the same way. I think the IOC and FIFA are the same way.
All right. Well, I'm going to look up future Winter Olympics sites that have been announced here. Okay, here we go. I've got them. Okay, 2030. So they only go so far out, right? So 2030, we're in France, the French Alps.
Okay.
2034, we're back in Salt Lake City.
Really?
Yeah, 2034.
So we will have 2 in Salt Lake City before we have 1 in a Nordic country? Was that what year was that, the Salt Lake City Games? 01?
No, it was like 2012.
Was it that recent?
Maybe it was before that.
04 maybe? Because 02 was Sydney.
It'd be but the winter and summer are in different numbers. I'm getting the summer ones. So summer ones are like 04, 08, our presidential election years here in the States. So the winter ones, because didn't Mitt Romney essentially run the Olympic operation for?
I have no idea.
So maybe it would have been like
good at that.
2006, 2010 maybe?
I thought it was before 2010. That was my thought. Anyway, keep going.
Yes.
So that's 2030. What's 30?
No,
34?
2030 is French Alps. 2034 is Salt Lake City.
Okay, what's
that's as far out as they've got.
Oh my goodness! I feel like Helsinki is like due.
Oh yeah.
Although they don't really have mountains.
But exactly, they're right on the coast,
water.
the water there. So you got to get somewhere that's colder.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Oslo would be interesting again.
All right.
2018, Esther Ledecka of the Czech Republic becomes the first female to win Olympic gold medal in 2 different sports at a single Winter Games in Pyeongchang. I have no idea.
That's China, Pyeongchang.
Pyeongchang.
Oh, wait, or is that Korea?
I think that's Korea.
That might be Korea.
Skiing Super G and snowboarding in the parallel giant slalom.
So to me, I'm like, I know we're calling that 2 different sports, but those are at least adjacent.
Well, one's skiing, one's snowboarding.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean,
like, I'm looking for, this guy won a swimming gold medal, and then he went out and he won a track and medal.
Yeah.
A track and field medal.
That feels like a 1900s, 1800s play, right?
Yeah.
2018, again, Japanese speed skater Nana Takagi, I have no idea.
Takagi.
Wins her second gold medal of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics in the women's mass start event. Also a member of Japanese successful pursuit team. Be honest, I don't know what either of those are.
So the mass start is where they're all, instead of like having it like you skate by yourself and then you like hit a time and then whoever has the best time, it's you put them all out in the ice and they skate together. That's the mass start. I'm not sure about what the pursuit is, but yeah. Okay, so who do you like?
Oh my goodness gracious!
I mean, I think there's a right answer here, John. I'm going to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't very impressed with the 2 different sports in the Winter Olympics.
No. Come on. There's an obvious answer here.
The U.S. hockey team clinching gold?
Yeah, it's the Miracle on Ice. It's the Miracle on Ice. Well, that was actually winning the semifinal. No, that was the gold. That's right.
This is the gold.
So, yes.
The actual Miracle on Ice was the semis.
The semifinal, yes. That's right.
Against the vaunted Russians.
That's right.
Soviets. They weren't Soviets.
Well,
those Venn diagrams mostly overlap.
Yeah, most of them would have been Russians.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we're going to go with the Miracle. We're going to go with the U.S. Winning gold in 1980. So, one thing you liked.
All right. So, as I think listeners know, we are moving this weekend, and I have gotten many text messages and voicemails in the midst of this podcast about said mood of people freaking out. One thing that has been great is we have discovered bankers' boxes.
Okay.
You familiar with these?
Vaguely.
You would recognize them if you see them. You can buy them en masse online. They require no tape. They fold together. They hold up to 300 pounds, and it comes with a lid, so there's no need for any taping down the lid even.
So they must be very similar then to like book boxes, essentially.
Yeah.
What I know, they're essentially the same thing.
They've been great to pack with. I'm not messing with Scotch tape in like 7 different directions. Now I have messed with it. I've done some. They make some TV boxes to put your electronics in and things like that. I have messed with that. They've been great for moving.
All right. Well,
you come in a variety of sizes. You can get them on Amazon.
I think I can find somebody who would take those off your hand after you're done with them.
We may have a few to spare.
Well, I would just like to call dibs right now on any and all of the boxes you are willing to give up after your moving process, because
there will be some.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Very cool. All right. So I'll be honest. When I saw the rundown and I saw that you had bankers' boxes, for some reason I first misread that and thought that said bankers' boxers. And I thought that's a little too personal, I think, for the one thing you like.
Yeah. That R is critical.
It is
in that word.
It is. So my one thing I like is my big Ohio trip this past week.
Yeah, you were a rock star.
Was not a rock star, but it was certainly enjoyable to do to go back to Ohio University, speak at the weekly meeting for the crew ministry there. Do some Bible study leaders training after that, then drive up to Columbus the next day, do an outreach event called Can We Trust the Bible? And in advance of that, they had given away close to 1,000 Bibles on campus at Ohio State.
Nice.
And then the next day, that Saturday, doing an extended Bible study leaders training with students from Cru at Ohio State, and then driving back down to Athens and speaking at the Ohio University Fellowship Dinner, which is their big fundraising dinner for their ministry for the year. And that was a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of folks from our OU days, and it's also fun to both times when I've spoken recently at OU, having students whose parents Kate and I knew from our days at OU in Cru. Like, oh my gosh, yes, you are. Yeah, I can see the resemblance. Or, yep, I can see the apple has not fallen far from the tree here. So, but a lot of fun and grateful for that. So that is my one thing I liked. All right, John, we have talked about the Winter Olympics and those dirty, filthy, cheating Canadians.
That's right.
Sore losing. Yeah, that's sore right. Loser Canadians. That's right. We have talked about Hosea. We have talked about the 1980 Miracle on Ice team winning gold medal.
And also locations for the Winter Olympics.
And we did.
That needs to be revisited.
Bonus content. That's right. That's right. We have talked about bankers' boxes.
That's right.
And we talked about my trip to Ohio. So I think, by definition, we have covered our various and sundry topics. So all that's left to say is, until next time, the Lord bless y'all real good.
Later.